Beautiful souls, welcome. How are you doing? It's so wonderful to see you. Give me just 1 second. Let me make sure that we are communicating here. All right. All right, everybody. How is everyone doing? It's such an honor to connect with you guys on such a special day. Well, today we're going to be preparing to do some major work for tomorrow, which is the solstice. And we have a lot of powerful energy that is aiding our awakening this entire phase. And I think for those of you that were there for my class the other day, where we talked about what we're looking at for this next 3 years, you may have kind of tuned in to how important this time is right now in the work that we're doing. Essentially, in this next year, we want to get really, really into the deep work, actual embodiment of the work, so that we can actually integrate all of these concepts that we talk about into actual practice, rather than just some kind of abstract practice that we are not really sure about. So I'm going to ask for everybody to, if you have questions about your journey or blocks or areas in which you feel that you're pretty blocked, I want you to put it in the chat box, put your questions down there. What are you most struggling with at this time? And kind of going to help me formulate the plan for this coming month, because we're going to start off the month pretty intense. We're going to get into a 30-day challenge to do deep healing. And I'm going to try to actually go deeper into the levels of this energy work. Tonight, we're going to actually work with energy healing. We're going to work with removing heavy energies from the multidimensional body in order to activate, not only DNA, but activate the memory, your memory of healing that is necessary in order to come into your highest potential. So wherever we're holding blocks in the body, and every time that we have a disconnect from our physical body, this is exactly where we want to put our focus. And tonight we're going to work on some of that. So put in the chat, what are your biggest blockages at this time? Where are you most needing attention and support and help? And yeah, I'd love to address that. So in the solstice, we are aligning and opening up a universal gateway of it's an opening. It's like a river of energy that is available through the universe at this time, which is why in ancient civilizations, the sun that was rising at the time of the equinox, which is 1 a.m. tomorrow, was kind of a flood of energy that people would absorb. We would stand in the sun, absorb from the sun into the body, and we absorb into the pineal gland. The pineal gland essentially has 4 different ventricles, just like the heart. And essentially those ventricles are they're projecting light, which manifests into the physical experience. So anytime that we are blocked, especially in our higher self, especially in this crown chakra of co-creation, we normally cannot access this information. We have a very hard time tuning into our intuition. We have a hard time with discernment. We have a hard time coming into, deeper truths that are necessary for a path. And oftentimes we can feel very disconnected and confused. And trauma essentially comes into its repetitive patterns that we come into repetition. So something that we want to really focus on at this time is opening up this crown chakra so that we can actually manifest and use the light at the time of the solstice. If wherever you are around the world, it's going to be different for you depending on where you are at the time. So you go ahead and look at your calendars to notice what part of the world you're at. But essentially, the sun that enters into the pineal gland then refracts. Behind the eye, behind the ocular plate, there is actually something that functions like a mirror that kind of refracts light force. And that light force that is refracted into our eyes to allow us to see, this kind of translates and computes all of the information from our DNA. The crown chakra is processing information from your human DNA, and which is your ancestral history, and it's also processing DNA from the earth, okay, which is, it's going into the earth, it's going into deeper programs and memories of that. So that's something that we want to kind of open up and work with, okay? All right, so let me go ahead and see here, make sure that everyone's in here. And I'm gonna just open a presentation because I wanted to show you how the function of that pineal gland essentially works so that you can work with it. Hold on just 1 second. Let me see here. Okay. All right, so let's see. I don't have my big screen with me today, so I'm having a hard time seeing on this tiny computer what we need to look at. Okay. Okay. So when we cultivate the 0 point, the 0 point is cultivated by coming into states of neutrality. Let me move this out here. Okay, here we go. I don't know why my contacts are just not cooperating today. One moment, guys. Give me just a second. In case you're gonna have to do this. Okay. Somebody couldn't find the link for the class, so I think they need to have the link. Okay, all right, guys. You can see my screen here. Are you guys seeing the violet light? Okay. Okay, and then where's my message box so I can see you guys? All right, guys. So, this is how at the time of the solstice we receive through the pineal gland. The pineal gland essentially functions like a refraction mechanism that brings infinite life force and refracts it into the experience of the multidimensional realm. And the reason why the pineal gland is so important because it's what processes the master filtration, master filters of the things that we're experiencing. So when we are working with violet light, which is essentially the light that becomes magnified when we come into universal alignments like the one that we're in today, which is the solstice. When these planets align, they open up the pathways for potential life force, this infinite potential to move through the universe in a very fluid, organized pattern. And the human has this opportunity to enhance their energetic field with downloads of information, clearing of old energy, because the energy that comes through this open gateway of energy is essentially at a higher octave. It's always at a higher octave. Every single, regardless what time, in the evolution or what you're experiencing, we are always ascending. So essentially, we are learning how to use this infinite potential that moves through the universe in a way that can clear out old frequencies and allow for new frequencies to enter into the body. So the chakra body, essentially, this third eye, which essentially it's a 4-layer system that connects to the physical body, the multidimensional body, and it's what essentially is uniting the heart chakra with your intuitive faculties. The integration of the heart and the third eye is what we're going to be focusing on in these next 10 years. Excuse me. It's what we're going to mostly be focusing on the next 10 years, because we are coming into a higher octave collectively where the veils are thinning, which means that we can see more. More is available to us. The frequency of the planet, the frequency of every human on this planet is elevating to a higher octave, which allows you to see and engage with higher dimensional frequencies, which means you can see more, which is why there are so many UFO sightings and so much happening in our universe right now. And essentially, disclosure is just part of our activation of our vision, which is a natural part of the work that we do here on this planet. So the more that we cultivate a grounded, stable neurological system, nervous system, that communicates with the brain in a way that is stable and from the observer, the easier it is for you to discern the information that you're getting and to create harmony with your mind, body, and soul. And essentially, the integration process of the higher self with the heart is essentially where we are marrying matter and the non-physical. Matter and the non-physical become united. They go through the alchemical marriage. And it is from this point that the body is able to come into, opening up the runways of energy in the body. So what are we talking about? The human body has meridian lines inside of the body. These meridian lines are energy pathways that exist within the body. And the more that the human comes into harmony with their feminine and masculine, the more we come into the ability to come into this neutral observer, which is a 0 point, the more we allow and move stagnant energy out of the body. So we are beginning to change how we perceive reality and how we hold energy. Additionally, something that happens in Solstice is that the reason why people have a lot of interdimensional activity and abilities and visions is that when we are able to open these pathways of energy through the universe, and let's go back to the ancient cultures. The ancient cultures created entire portal ways, like out of stone. They created stone doorways. They created buildings like the pyramids, all around the world, because of the way that we can hold life force and direct it in a spiral motion. You'll notice that a lot of the petroglyphs, the ancient petroglyphs around the world, are in a circular form. And also in a pyramidal form, because it allows the energy to circulate in a certain way. It is the highest form of conductivity. So the human is the battery, the conduit that actually ignites these centers into an open vortex of life force. We combine the organic technology with the earth grids, which the earth is very much alive. The earth also has pathways of life force, and the DNA of the earth is available through those pathways. When we use the ley lines appropriate to these sacred places, correctly, we can ignite and we can activate memory. We activate memory through the bioelectrical field. Okay, that's why when you travel to these incredible places, you're able to activate, ancestral memory. You remember many lives there. You remember past lives. You remember all kinds of things that activate your physical body. And sometimes people experience healing. Sometimes they experience downloads of all kinds. So that being said, what is happening through this charged areas of energy that are moving in a very fast spiral form, is that we are able to access a higher brainwave states, which is what allows us to open our vision. Okay, so today we're going to practice with that, and I want you to work with clearing the multidimensional body. I want you to work with the organs. We're going to release from the organs any kind of stagnant energy emotionally that is in the body, and move through those blockages. Okay, and the way we're going to do it is we're going to be aware of the emotions that are in the body, but also we're going to work with our life force. So we're going to imagine that whatever blockage we notice in our energetic space, we're going to remove it with an invisible hand. You're going to visualize that you have an invisible energetic hand. It's going to grab the stagnation that you feel inside the parts of the body of your multidimensional field, and we are going to remove them into a vortex of violet light underneath us, which is connecting to this DNA of the earth, these pathways of energy. You are opening the channel of your body. You are the conduit that links the energy from the solstice, this universal cosmic energy, and you are the one that opens up all the debris in your body so that you can anchor it into the earth for healing. Okay, so the kind of work that we're doing, wherever you are in whatever part of the world, you are accessing healing for that part of the world. And it's connected to ancestral agreements, it's connecting to patterns, blockages, and healing that is potential for you. So wherever you are, thank you for the work that you're doing. So as you feel into the body, wherever you feel discomfort inside the body, that's an energy point that is stagnant or dormant. And this is the area that we're going to be focusing on. So what I would love for you to do is that when you come into a stillness and you're absolutely still and you start to become aware of your energy body, and you begin to feel, oh, I feel like there's a little dark spot over here, or there's some heaviness over here. Use your 5 senses to tune in to read your energetic body. And you're going to be able to tune in to those parts of the body. Okay. So as you tune in to those heavy places of energy, just observe, does it look like a form? Does it look like an object? Does it look like a blockage? That energy is crystallized thought forms that have solidified in your energetic space. So we're going to dissolve that. And to dissolve it, we're going to use the crown, because the crown, once again, we are anchoring that source energy, through the 7th chakra. We are utilizing that energy, which is the unification of the higher self and the physical. And we want to eliminate all of these unconscious, physical, cyclical blockages that we created in our space so that we can, embody the higher self, essentially. We want to embody the higher self. We want to integrate that into the physical body. So this life force that we bring in through the body, we're going to use this 7th chakra. We're going to expand it really big. And as you know, the chakras are spheres of our body. So they actually take up the entire parameter of our entire body. It literally is like a sphere of our body. So right now, maybe your root chakra is overactive, maybe your solar plexus is overactive, depending on the kind of emotional triggers you've been dealing with in the past couple of weeks. You're going to redirect that to focus on your crown, because the crown is the higher self. So we're going to have the higher self proactive in this exercise. And it's going to shine light on the blockages in your energetic space to clear them out. Okay. I want you to trust yourself. This is an exercise of self-trust. And this is where we begin to focus on creating a very strong intuitive dialogue between the feeling body, the energetic body, and your multidimensional body. Okay. All right, my love. So that is what we're going to be doing. And whatever it is that you see in your energetic space that you begin to recognize, like blockages, these are called pictures. We call them pictures because they sometimes they sometimes have a very subtle memory, or like an abstract memory of the events that happened to you. But usually these are interesting because these pictures are encoded with many layers of memory, not just that immediate memory that's stagnant in your field. It's because we're repeating programs. A lot of a lot of problems in our life result from the same belief system, so we're just repeating the same program over and over again. So the more we have reinforced, any one of these programs based on our trauma, based on the shadow work that we have or haven't done, this stagnant energy has become enlarged, and it usually is interconnected with many layers of our multidimensional body. Okay, so you're basically a sphere within spheres. Imagine that these thought forms based on frequency, because every sphere is a different frequency, is kind of embedded in more than one field, because we have multiple layers of the way that we perceive something. And in one traumatic event, there's many emotions, not only that we felt in that moment, but that we've developed as a result of the original trauma, which is what strengthens the program that was created at the time of the trauma. So essentially, we kind of grow these blockages in our space, and they just become ailments eventually when they crystallize to a very, very slow moving frequency. By strengthening, solidifying that program, it goes and begins to affect the physical body. So those of you that feel that you have like really a lot of physical problems, like on the right side of the body, you can kind of get an idea. The majority of your imbalanced programs are in the masculine. The same if you have, physical problems in the left side of the body, most of your limiting belief systems are in the divine feminine, in the feminine aspect. This is not about sex. It's both men and women that are holding these programs. So, and then this goes even deeper in, we can talk deeper about that, but for now, we're just going to focus on clearing our energetic space, because the more we open space tomorrow for when you're going through the solstice or wherever you are in the world right now, some of you have already experienced this, you are able to allow that energy to move through. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop the recording here for just 1 second.